The bodies of 2 Chinese citizens who were killed when their boat capsized while being chased by the Taiwanese Coast Guard are being returned to China. The repatriation comes after Chinese officials travelled to Taiwan's Kinmen Islands. The deaths in February increased tensions between the two sides. Louise Watt has been following today's events in Kinmen. Louise, what's happening there?
Well, I'm at a port here in Kinmen, and it was from here that the boat at the centre of this incident set sail earlier today, carrying the bodies of the 2 Chinese nationals that died in this incident with the Taiwanese Coast Guard. Now, before the boat set sail, there was a Taoist ceremony on board. The coffins of the 2 men were draped with cloths, incense was lit, and offerings were burnt. And I will say that the Taiwanese officials have been very meticulous to show respect to the 2 Chinese men. As the boat set sail, officials from the Coast Guard put their hands together as if in prayer. And earlier on at Kinmen's funeral parlour, at a ceremony to honour the 2 dead men, the officials from Coast Guard and elsewhere in Taiwan, they actually bowed to their coffins. So the events today follow a flurry of activity this morning, negotiations between the 2 sides, including officials from a Chinese city in Fujian province, that's just across the water. They travelled here to Kinmen, and both sides announced a consensus had been reached. Neither would give any details, but in reports ahead of the negotiations, Taiwanese media were reporting that Taiwan was willing to give $180,000 US to each family, so that's 2 payments. The Chinese term doesn't translate as compensation money, it's more like condolence payments. So that suggests that even though Taiwan may well be handing over money, they're not accepting any blame for the incident.
So, Louise, how significant was the collision that led to the deaths of these 2 men? Did it change anything between Taiwan and China?
It absolutely did. So if we remember, this happened back in February. And since then, the Chinese Coast Guard has been increasing patrols around Kinmen. Now, they say that's to safeguard the lives and property of their fishers. Taiwanese officials, they have another reading on the situation. They say it's part of China's pressure on Taiwan to get it to accept its claims of sovereignty over the country. Now, what's key about this incident was there was no video recording of it. So since then, the Taiwanese Coast Guard has said it will record all similar incidents in the future involving Chinese vessels in Taiwan's restricted waters. And the fact that there was no video recording, that has led the Taiwanese Coast Guard to apologize on multiple times to the families of these 2 fishers. It may be why that it's taken almost 6 months for this incident to come to some kind of conclusion. But it's still not over, because here in Taiwan, investigations are still going on, both at government level and at criminal level.